Hello people, Kashi here. This is my first video on YouTube, and I have no idea how long it's going to be. Probably nothing crazy. I don't have a script written, so it is just going to be me talking. But I do have a subject topic for today that we're going to get to after I do the normal YouTube stuff that you kind of have to do when you have a first video, like introductions. Anyway, so as most of you know, I have Insta, TikTok platforms, and I do bodybuilding. I'm yet to compete, but I'm on the way there. I'm not going to call myself a bodybuilder because I'm not yet, but I'm bodybuilding. Some of you won't know me because you will find me on YouTube somehow, and this is the first time that you're seeing me. So I'm into everything to do with bodybuilding, among other things, and those other things will be discussed on this channel because my other social medias are pretty much just bodybuilding, and how to do bodybuilding in the most efficient and effective manner, however that is. So yeah, this channel is going to be maybe 2 to 3 uploads a month, depending on my schedule and everything, but I'm going to go for minimum 2 uploads a month. At least one of those uploads every month will be a bodybuilding related topic directly. Could be like anything to do with bodybuilding. And it could be like all 3 of the uploads are bodybuilding related, but sometimes I'm going to upload things like today on completely different things that I'm interested in, like other things in life, whether that's science, paleontology, fragrances, media, like breakdowns and video essays. I want to do one on things like Evangelion, Vagabond, things like that. A bunch of other stuff. Philosophy. Today's a little bit of a philosophical topic to start with, just to set the tone. But yeah, that's what this channel is going to look like. So if you're interested in that, like, subscribe, comment, stick around, give me suggestions of what you want me to talk about, and I might talk about them. But if you're not into that, and you were thinking that this is going to be the same as my other socials and just bodybuilding, my bad. You'll get at least 1 upload a month. That'll be something. I think my next video that I'm going to do that I have in the pipeline is I want to go over do a extended version of my bodybuilding basics series that I had on TikTok, but make it very long length and in depth, and go over all of the basics. So, training, nutrition, recovery, what is bodybuilding, what do you have to do, what are the different divisions, what are the judges looking for, how does your lifestyle look as a bodybuilder, so on and so forth. So that'll probably be my next video. If you're interested in that, then great. If not, again, my bad. But yeah, that's my introduction. It's my intro. It's who I am. It's me, Kashi. So we'll get on to the video's topic. Video number 1 on my channel. What am I? And also, an extension of that, why do I feel so unfulfilled in my life? I've got a couple of answers to that, and my titles like this are going to be quite loose. I will talk about a whole genre of things in this video to do with this, but all you need to know for now is I'm going to be talking a lot about ways to live, and a lot about ways humans used to live and how we've stopped doing that, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So, okay. Why are we so unfulfilled? Why is life so unfulfilling? And, what are you? What are you trying to get out of life? And why can't you get what you want out of life? Why does everything just feel like it's this monotonous like cycle? To answer that in a chemical brain way, we're going to start back on when humans were hunter-gatherers. When we stood up on two legs and we formed these small groups of wanderers, and our entire thing was going from place to place and hunting and gathering and making small temporary shelters and living in them for a very short period of time and then moving on as a group. The group component is very important. When we used to do those things, everyone in the group had a specific task. There were people that gathered, and that's all they did. They gathered. And if they didn't gather, that means that the rest of the group would not get the gatherings. And there were specific people in that group that went and they hunted. And that was their whole thing. That's all they did. And so if they didn't hunt, the people in that group would not get fed meat. They'd have no protein. They'd die. They'd starve. And there were other people that helped find other resources, like firewood, part of gathering, like all that kind of stuff. If they didn't do that, you go cold in the winter, so on and so forth. You get the gist. As we evolved into larger communities, we use the Middle Ages for an example, we had a similar thing going on with trades, where if you were born into a family where the dad was a blacksmith and you were a boy, you were probably going to be a blacksmith for the rest of your life. And you would specialize in being a blacksmith. And that's all you would do. And you'd be really good at it. And you'd make a decent living and you'd have a decent life because you're supplying a ware or a goods to the community for a trade. We don't have that anymore, to an extent. And a lot of people don't specialize in anything anymore. We go to university, or actually start a little bit earlier. We go to high school. And in high school, you probably have some inkling of maybe what you want to do when you're older. And 50% of people or less might go to university after high school to continue on and try and make a career out of that thing that they want to do. And the other 50% or however many people don't, they give up in high school and like that's it. That's all they got. Then people go to university and they learn about the subject. A lot of people drop out first year. This isn't for me. Man, this is like completely different to what I thought. And they go and try and find something else. And then some more people stick through university and they get into the workforce, and about 50% of them be like, holy shit, this is completely different. This is not for me. I've just wasted X amount of time in university doing this thing. And the other 50% will, one, part of them might actually like what they're doing, but there will be another part of that group that does not enjoy it, but they've just done all of this time in university, so they kind of have to stick it out. Right? All of those other people that did not stick it out, and even some of those who did, will find a different career and do a different thing and start down a different path. And they'll start specializing in something else. Now, a small percentage of those people who are specializing in something else will actually follow through with it. The rest of that group, they'll have the same issue again. That this is not what I thought it was. I've got to find something else. It's too hard. I don't have enough support. I don't have enough financial stability, so on and so forth. And they career hop. They might legitimately career hop for their whole life. Start a new thing every 2-3 years. And on the surface, this looks okay. But on an emotional level, this is why a lot of people are unfulfilled. Because, one, they're not doing what they want to do, truly. And two, every single time they're getting into like a bracket in which they might be slightly knowledgeable about this subject that they're doing, they drop it and they go do something else, and they start at the bottom of the barrel again, and they work their way back up the ladder, and they never get the reward of being at the top of a field, or like close to the top of a field, and being able to cruise through a career with decent money. They never get that because they never get there. They don't spend long enough doing it. So how does this relate to, blacksmithing, right? Because a lot of people in today's age would look at how we used to live, born into a family, blacksmith for your whole life, yada yada, and I'd be like, oh, that's terrible. I could never do that. That would suck, and I could never be part of a family like that. That'd be really horrible. I want to experience more things. It's almost counterintuitive, because a lot of those families who just passed down knowledge and did things, and sons did things, were content because they didn't know anything else. They didn't know any better. They just went about their business. Now, I'm not saying that we should live in a not knowledgeable society where everyone just does the same thing for generations on end. What I am saying, though, is making a point out of finding something and sticking to it and getting really good at it. I'm talking really good at it. Instead of casting your net really wide and having a bunch of different things that you want to do, and then you are mediocre at every single one of them, and unfulfilled and unhappy, and you don't actually get anything from it, really. I'm going to use bodybuilding as an example for a lot of things while I'm talking, because it is very easy to use as an example, and obviously it's my thing, so why wouldn't I know more about it than a lot of other things? So you go into your local gym and you see this late 30s, early 40s PT at the gym, and he looks in shape. He looks in shape, and he doesn't have many clients, and he works like part-time behind the desk. And then you find out a couple of months later, oh, he's a bodybuilder. He does bodybuilding competitions. And then you look into him a little bit, and he's been bodybuilding for over a decade now. And he's in his late 30s or early 40s. And he can't win a local show. And he doesn't improve year to year in the past 3 years. And part of the reason, obviously there's potentially a genetics component, but I'll get to that later. Part of the reason is he's casting his net really wide. He's working at this gym, sinking hours into working there and not making much money from it. He's working as a PT and sinking hours into that with clients and giving clients the same mediocre, shoddy routine or advice that he's utilizing himself, that his shoddy, mediocre coach is probably giving to him. He might do some online coaching, and same thing, he's giving the same shoddy, mediocre advice to all of those people, and he's not making much money from it. And so he's got all of these external stresses and things that are taking up his time in his life that aren't really providing anything to him. And if he figured out a way to do bodybuilding full time, which there is lots of ways to do that in these days and age, and I'll go over that, he might actually be able to win a local show. He might have been able to win a local show 5 years ago out of his 15-year career. Maybe even earlier. This is reflected in every other facet of life, like I was talking about before with career hopping. There's this 45-year-old lifelong career hopper. They've done this field, and I've worked for these people, and I've been here, and I've worked in this, and it's all different things. And they've got nothing to show for it. They've got a, medium to low income. They can't settle for anything. They're unhappy. They don't like where they work now. They don't have many friends because they just hop all the time. Their relationship at home might be unstable because of the monetary factor, and they just can't decide what they want to do for the rest of their lives. Instead of figuring out what you want to do earlier on and putting everything into it, putting your all into it. So again, I'll use the example with bodybuilding, because bodybuilding is very easy to do full time in the current day and age with social media, and people don't realize it. When you are young and you figure out that you are not cut out for a certain sport genetically, but you are cut out for putting on muscle and having a decent frame and potentially doing bodybuilding, the first thing that you need to do is start setting up some kind of social media presence, and going to the gym and getting everything else right, obviously, but some form of social media presence. That is TikTok or Instagram. TikTok is the easiest to get a following on and gain traction on. Once you have this social media rolling and you're making progress, and you've been progressing for a while, you start branching out onto other platforms. You post whatever kind of content you want, really. It doesn't really matter. Just something that's like eye-catching and with the trends and whatever. And you branch out onto other platforms. Instagram, YouTube, Red Note, and amassing even more of a following. And then once you've been training for a long enough period of time, you are either going to compete and boost your popularity, or you're going to start online coaching of some kind. Preferably lifestyle coaching first and not bodybuilding coaching, especially if you have not competed, because you don't know how to prep someone. But coaching people through lifestyle changes is fine too. And now you start making a little bit of money. Now you're monetized on YouTube, you're making some money from that. Maybe you get a sponsor, you're making some money from that. And now all of a sudden you're making more money from this than you were making from your little part-time whatever you had going on. So you can quit that. You now I quit it. And that means now, on top of you not really taking a hit financially, you can devote more time and more effort into bodybuilding and the things around it that will boost it. So all those things are going to go up too. You'll probably get a second sponsor. You'll have more time to edit YouTube videos, so there'll be more quality and you'll get more subscribers. You will have more time to post other informational content or physique videos or whatever. The quality of your physique will go up because you'll have more time to put into it. And so then you will gain physique appeal and whatever. However, coming back to the point of this video, I'm talking about how humans used to have groups. It is very popular in bodybuilding for high-level bodybuilders to say that bodybuilding is the loneliest sport in the world, and that it is you and only you, and you versus you, and you can't really have anyone else interfere with anything, and so on and so forth. And in my opinion, that could not be further from the truth. Just like we did when we were, hunter-gatherers, having a support network of people who bring things to the table that you require, and you, in the opposite regard, giving them things that they require that will help them in life, is the best way to have a functional human unit that can help you. Now again, like I was saying before, I'm just using bodybuilding as an example. This goes for everything. This goes for if you're a scientist or a paleontologist, or you're an artist, or you work in a bank, or look at your career. It doesn't matter. A lawyer, I'm just using bodybuilding as an example. And in using bodybuilding as an example, say for example, you get a partner who is very supportive of what you're doing, and they understand what you might be going through in a prep, or the mental insecurities that you might have during an off-season or a prep, or just in general, and the kind of food that you need to eat and the lifestyle that you need to live, and it's very monotonous and day in day out. They might, in my case, they might do some kind of bodybuilding as well. That's even better, because then you have two like-minded people that can support each other and help each other and give second opinions and bounce off each other all the time in the same space, and things can work like clockwork. When I can't cook pre-prep, she can. When she can't cook pre-prep, I can. When she doesn't want to get up and go to the gym, I can get her up and go to the gym, vice versa, all of these other things. And all of a sudden you have someone that can keep you accountable on a day-to-day basis for what you are doing. This goes with other careers. You might find a partner who is very passionate about the same thing that you're passionate about. It could be science. And now you have a partner who can hold you accountable in university or college with getting things done and passing and doing the extra study to go the extra mile. Might not be on the exam, but you want to be good in your field and you want to know everything there is to know, because that's what passion is. And so they might push you to do all of this extracurricular study and learn everything that you can about this specific thing. Next, this is a difficult one for a lot of people, and I have personal experience with it. I'm not going to go into it much, but a lot of people, this is going to be a really, really a hard pill to swallow. Parents, you unfortunately don't get to pick your parents, and they don't get to pick you. You don't get to pick your genetics, and you don't get to pick your living situation when you're younger. However, once you are an adult and you are 18, you, for the most part, do largely get to decide those things. For the lucky few of you who are pursuing something and you have parents in your life that are very supportive and want to see you succeed and want to see you achieve the thing that you want to achieve, great. For those of you that don't, you have the option as an adult to mitigate or minimize the amount of time, if any, that they have in your life. A lot of parents do not understand the things that you want to do, particularly with stuff like bodybuilding and like more obscure things. Things that they don't understand that they make money. Pretty much. They'll look at bodybuilding like, why do you want to get up on stage and you're posing trunks and like not make much money from it, and you just suffer and whatever, and they won't get it. As an adult, you may have to make the adult decision to minimize the amount of time that they have in your life. And a lot of you are going to hear that. You're like, what? No, they're my parents. Like, I love them and whatever. And to that, I'm going to say another harsh reality. You're going to die. And pretty soon, too. Like, it's not very far away. I don't care how old you are. Like, you're going to die. And depending on what you believe in, you don't get another shot. Once you die, you're dead. And that's it. You don't get another chance to try and pursue that thing that you wanted to pursue again. And so if you sit around and you let these people that just so happen to have birthed you and raised you poorly and not support you, if you let them hold you back from doing that thing, you are going to die with a lot of regrets. A lot of regrets. And you're going to have died doing nothing. And I'll get to that soon. But a lot of people, particularly younger people, need a wake-up call to realize that your parents are not the be-all and end-all. And just like every single other person that you interact with, you can limit or cut interactions with them off entirely if it's a negative. If they're being a very negative impact in your life. The next is close friends. I'm of the personal opinion, and I'm fine if people disagree with this because I'm a bit... Close friends are the only friends that you need. Everyone else is acquaintances, and you don't let them in. Close friends, and by close friends, you might have like 2 or 3. You let them in. They're on your inner circle. They know what's going on, and they get it. Everyone else you talk to, and you might open up to a little bit and whatever, but you don't let them in, because if you let someone in, they now have some form of control or grasp on what you are doing to achieve your goals. And they could ruin that. They could tear it down from the inside very quickly. So if you're close friends, that you let in. Now these close friends, oftentimes you want to find people with either similar goals and aspirations to you, or still shooting as high as you, but really opposite, so that you can have a breath of fresh air, sort of thing. But I think that finding a good mix of close friends who are going to be very real with you, and supportive of you, and understanding of you, not feeling like you're treading on eggshells when you say, I have to stay in because I need to study, or I can't come out to that party because I'm on prep and I have to eat this meal. If you have friends that make fun of you for that, or you have friends that put you down for that, or those kinds of things, they're not your friends, and you should cut them off. You shouldn't allow that to just keep happening, because that's holding you back from what you want to do. Because again, you get one life. You get one. But yeah, like a very close, tight-knit circle of friends. They could be from different groups. They could be from the same group, doesn't really matter. But as long as they're helping you achieve what you want to achieve, and they're not holding you back, and they're not ridiculing you or making fun of you or fucking things up for you, that's fine. In terms of bodybuilding context, a good training partner is very important. And now you apply this to other things. You might want like a study partner, or like a lab partner, or stuff like that. But I'm going to use bodybuilding context. Your training partner, in my opinion, should not be your friend. Your training partner should be a co-worker. They're someone that you see at the gym, and you have a job and a task that you need to complete and get done, and you can go about and do it without bringing personal feelings into the gym. Because bringing personal feelings into the gym between each other just leads to issues. Leads to when your training partner is late, you let it slide. It leads to when they're having a rough day and they want to vent to you about it, it takes away from the session. It leads to when you have disagreements, people hold grudges and you can't work it out, and that puts stresses or delays on things. And it also means that if your friendship outside of the gym breaks down for external factors, you no longer have a training partner. You got to find a new one. And if they're a really good training partner, then that sucks. So maybe your training partner is someone that you met in the gym. You both go at a similar time. You both have similar training styles and ideas and ideals and goals. And you two can just get to work. And similar to a partner or a relationship, this is someone who can hold you accountable and push you in the right direction and get your ass in gear when they have to. And it's very important, because there's going to be days where you do not want to train. And there's going to be days where you get to the gym and you're like, oh, it's like this rotation, I hate these exercises, but I've got to do them because this is a weak point, or I'm really tired, I'm in a cut or like a prep and I just don't want to train. You are going to be your biggest worst enemy, and you are going to mentally block yourself from achieving the things that you need to achieve in the gym. If you have a training partner that knows you and knows what you're like, and does not have an emotional connection to you because they're not your friend, they're your training partner, they're going to slap you on the back of the head and kick your fucking ass into gear, because it has to be for every single session. I really like Dorian Yates' quote, because he's a really good example of having a great training partner. His quote is that every workout is like adding a brick to a wall. And at the beginning, and even in the middle, it doesn't look like much of a wall, and it kind of sucks. But the end result is what you put into it. Are you going to buy nice quality bricks every single time to put into that wall, and nice quality mortar to put in between those bricks every single time, and be meticulous and careful with putting those bricks down so that the end result of that wall is this structurally stable, quality, tough wall that looks great, and it's not going to fall over or break apart against, any kind of force? Or are you going to use quality bricks sometimes when you can afford it, and not so quality ones, mismatched bricks, and sometimes you've got really good mortar, but other times you can't even use mortar, you've just got to put the raw bricks down next to each other, and the end result of that wall is, one, it just looks like shit. It's just all mismatched, it doesn't look good, it just is not cohesive. And two, you could piss on it and it'd fall down. It'd crumble. It has no structural integrity. And that goes back to bodybuilding, with both the structural integrity of the wall is your mental and your mindset. Are you doing it day in, day out with quality every single day, and being attentive and having the right mindset so that when you run into adversary, you don't just crumble? And are you doing it day in and day out and doing all the right things and tracking all the right things so that the end result of your physique, like the appearance of the wall, is quality? Or, do you skip legs every 2 weeks and then the end result is you've got a great upper body and a shit lower body? Or do you hate training back, and by the end of it you've got this half cooked back and everything else is good? You know what I mean? Every workout is a brick. I genuinely think that if Dorian did not have the training partner that he had, you can see him in the Blood and Guts videos, the guy with the pirate bandana. If he did not have that guy, we wouldn't have Dorian Yates. We wouldn't have the Shadow. We wouldn't have this horrifying figure in the bodybuilding community that changed the sport entirely. And every single year, these guys that he was competing against were just scared shitless of what are we going to see on the day? What is going to walk out and beat us? I mean, you even take what Sean Ray said. He said, my whole career, I was in the shadow of the shadow, and there was nothing I could do. The only reason that I went to the gym and trained was because of Dorian Yates, and because I couldn't see what he looked like. I had no idea how much he was going to improve the next year, so I had to improve as much as I possibly could to even dream of standing next to him and being comparable. Do you know how scary of a competitor you have to be to strike fear into your opposition 365 days of the year? That's insane. And Dorian pulled it off perfectly, because he had all of those things that I have just talked about. He had a great training partner who, to my knowledge, wasn't his friend outside of the gym. He had a great partner in general who was very supportive of what he was doing and understood what he was doing day in, day out. He had a great group of friends who all trained at the same gym as him, and they were all bodybuilders, and they all understood what he was doing, and they all understood what he was going through, and they all let him do his thing and helped him. And so every single part of his life was meticulously crafted to force him towards this end goal. And that's why we have the Shadow. That's why this is why we have 6 times Mr. Olympia Dorian Yates. Yes, some of those times are controversial, but you know what I mean. And all of that stuff that I have just listed is a direct mirror image of how our hunter-gatherer lifestyle used to work. Because without the forager's partner, the hunter, you, cannot survive the end task. because the end task back then was survival. Like they didn't have anything else. Their whole thing was like, shit, I just want to wake up tomorrow morning and not get eaten by whatever. But now, like, your end task can be like bodybuilding or whatever. But they functioned as a group. And important part, very important, you have to fill that role for someone else in that group. It's a two-way street. So if you have a partner who is very supportive and loving and caring and understands what you're going through and what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish and wants to help you, you have to also be that for them. And if you have friends that don't make fun of you or judge you or anything like that, and they help you on what you're trying to do and give you time and give you space, you have to be that for them. It all works out. It all works out really well. And that type of community, this very small, very tight-knit community, is, in my opinion, all we have left as humans in today's society, in this like capitalist hell. And I've got a couple of reasons for that, but my main one is the creation or the explosion of monetary value and the importance of money and the weight that it has on our society. To understand this, we have to understand bartering. We used to barter. You guys know I'm sure you know what bartering is. It's like trading. Like, I'm a chicken farmer. I have chickens. I have them in a coop. I have baby chickens. I have eggs. You have charcoal or coal. And so when it's winter time, I'm set on food. I've got a shitload of chickens. I got a shitload of eggs. I'm going to freeze to death though. I need charcoal or coal for my fireplace to keep myself warm. How am I going to get that? I'm going to trade you excess chickens that I have for your coal or charcoal. You get something from me. I get something from you. We both survive. The world keeps spinning. Right? Right. That's how it used to work. And it was very simple. And it allowed us to hyper specialize in things, because then you could give the spoils of your hyper specialization to other people and trade. Like in today's age, if I'm a bodybuilder and I have a lot of knowledge on nutrition and I have a lot of knowledge on the hormonal or endocrine system and I have a lot of knowledge on training and human physiology, I can give people my service by helping them in those areas. And if it was back in the day, they would help me in return by giving me food, gear, and supplements, right? Right. Free gym membership, like they used to give back in like the 80s and 90s. Like this guy would win a pro card. It's like, oh, well, okay, you have a free membership to our gym now because you're a pro and you bring business here. Like that kind of stuff. That's how that would work, except it doesn't. It doesn't. Because we have money now and it sucks. It's awful. Because now I'm a chicken farmer. I've got chickens. I've got chicks. I've got eggs. But no one wants to buy from me because Joe Schmo next door sells all of his shit for $10 cheaper per chicken. And so now I make no money, and my hyper specialization that I'm doing is not sustainable because I'm not making money. Do you understand the issue now of like, back then it was easy because if you hyper specialized in something and you were really good at something, you could trade that thing for stuff that you need. Whereas now it's like, you could be the best chicken farmer ever. Those chickens, man, they've got superpowers. They will make you grow 2 foot taller and gain 10 pounds of lean tissue every chicken. But no one wants them because, again, Joe Blow next door sells his shitty ass chickens for $10 cheaper. The way around this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. You utilize this bartering, trading, monetary system, and you combine the two. In the context of bodybuilding, this would be offering online coaching. This would be getting a brand deal. I will represent your brand and wear your shit. You give me money because I will get you sales for your brand. This could be winning shows and proving to people, yeah, like I'm doing this because I'm here to win and I'm good enough to earn the money. right? And then that applies to other things. For example, like if your thing is, I don't know, maths tutoring is an option. Going and speaking at universities or what do you guys call it in America? College. Things of that nature. Helping out with, or like joining like construction companies and understanding like physical, like mathematics to do with like physics and that kind of stuff, and building. Like there's lots of applications of your skill that you are hyper specialized in that you can go and carry out in society and make the money that you now need to make. If you are spreading your net really thin, like I was saying earlier, you are not going to be good enough at your skill to go and make money from it in society, because no one wants to employ you. Because this guy over here, he studied his ass off. He studied his ass off. He knows how to hold this leaf that is a light really, really well. And it's all he does. And he's really good at it. He can do it all day. It's all he does. I've done it once for a very small amount of time, and I can't hold it for very long, but I can do it for a little bit. Who are they going to hire? Me or him? Him. And I'm out of a job. I'm shit out of luck. He's not, because he's put the effort in. You know what I mean? You're more hireable. You have more places where people want you to apply your skill because you're so proficient at it. You've studied it so much, and you're so good at it, and you're so knowledgeable on it. It's just like with bodybuilding. I do not want to hire a coach that says that they can do bodybuilding clients, lifestyle clients, powerlifting clients, strongman clients, in-person PT sessions. I don't care. You're probably shit at all 5 of those things. You probably really suck at all of them. And your career will reflect that. Sometimes career doesn't reflect that, and that's due to genetics, and that's a whole different conversation. But your career will probably reflect you being shit at all 5 of those things, because you haven't specialized in one of them. You've dipped your toes in the water in all 5. I understand powerlifting because I understand bodybuilding. 2 completely different things. There's some nuance to that, but whatever. I understand lifestyle because I understand bodybuilding dieting. Normal civilian people do not want to be eating like a bodybuilder. That shit sucks. It is awful. You are going to lose clients so fast. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So, what do we do about it? Because we're feeling so unfulfilled and we're not doing these things and we're not, devoting our time and energy to one thing. Well, you, my friend, I have a lot of younger audience and I want this to be very impressionable. I'm not telling you how to live your life, although I do really care about you and I want you to do well. What you need to do is find your passion that you have. I do not care what it is. And I'm going to be the first person to tell you this in your entire life. By your mum when you were younger and she was lying because she wanted you to make you feel better. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do in some kind of capacity if you put your mind to it and you actually do everything you need to do day in, day out for that thing. I don't care if you're 5'5" like me and you want to be a volleyball player. Be the best libero on planet Earth. Do everything you can to be the greatest defensive player on planet Earth. Or learn everything there is to know about volleyball and become the best coach of the world dominating team. Right? There is some facet that you can excel in that has to do with the thing that you're obsessed with, the thing that you love the most. A lot of things, anything science related or English related or that kind of stuff, they don't really take the same kind of genetics that a lot of sports do, and they legitimately just take time and a lot of learning and a lot of reading and looking into things and putting two and two together and screwing your head on straight, and all that kind of stuff, staying healthy so that you can, be a functioning human, and having good relationships that allow you to have the time and everything. But we've talked about that. So with something like wanting to be a scientist, let's say a paleontologist, digging up dinosaur bones and shit, it's what I want to do as a kid. That stuff's so cool. You're telling me I get to find like species that exist millions of years ago that no one knows about and dig them up and they get presented in a museum, and then people for generations like, wow, do you remember the whatever that got found? Baryonyx by fucking whoever. Anyway, that's cool as fuck. That doesn't take any genetics. That takes a lot of passion. That takes a lot of studying. That takes a lot of reading. It takes a lot of time. And you need a group of people around you that are going to allow you to excel. And you can excel. Do well in school. I don't care. I don't care if you have no friends. I don't care if you have no friends. Do well in school. Stay in school. Go to university. Do well in university. Do extra in university. Like I was saying. You're studying for this exam that's coming up. And you are studying to pass. The guy that actually wants to be a paleontologist, this guy who's holding the leaf and really good at holding the leaf, remember him, right? Versus me, who's like held the leaf a little bit, just enough. He is doing extra study. Stuff that's not on the exam. Stuff that might come up later when he's in this field of work that he wants to be proficient at, and he wants to have understood that information and that knowledge for years prior to being in that field. He's going to excel. You're going to pass. There's a really big difference between the two. You need to excel. And you can excel. And you will excel. I think that's kind of all I want to get at. Is a lot of you, particularly younger people, but even then, like there's some people that aren't too young. You need to kick your ass into gear. And you can achieve whatever you want to achieve in some facet, within reason, in your life. You just need to devote yourself, and you need a good tribe, I'm going to call it, of people that all help you and bring things and support you. And the last part of this video, I want to talk about the difference between the people who do that and the unfortunate people who don't or don't get to. This is going to be a little bit morbid, but it kind of has to be, because I need you guys, particularly you younger guys that are on the cusp of like leaving high school and actually doing shit. I need you guys to understand it. Like, I need you to get the weight of where I'm coming from. You're going to die. And like I said before, it's going to be pretty soon. Might not be tomorrow, might not be next week, but you're going to die. And your whole life, it's going to go really quick. It goes quick. And when you die, the only thing that you will ever be once you die is memories. Or what you leave behind for people to keep using or keep saying or keep thinking about that is connected to you. They might not remember your name in generations to come, but they will remember or utilize or talk about things that you did or found out about or helped create. However, there are unfortunate people who don't do that. If you go to your local cemetery, there is a lot of graves in that cemetery that are old and not looked after, and no one really cares, and no one knows the people that were buried or the name, and there's no flowers and there's nothing there. And it's because those people left nothing behind and they didn't do anything. And now it has been, 2 generations, maybe 3, and they're lost to time. They're completely forgotten. They no longer exist at all on any sort of spectrum. But then you go to other cemeteries, or even some in your cemetery, and there's people that died 80 years ago, and their graves are grand and still looked after, and they still have flowers, and people still come and visit them to this day. And it's because they were known for something. Even if they were just known for something like in their community. Like, it doesn't have to be something huge. It doesn't have to be some like world altering impact. It just has to even just be something in your community, in your field, in your niche, that people can remember. Because I've experienced death like a decent amount in my life, and I'm not going to get into that, but you know, like I've had people very close to me pass away, and seen other people that I'm not so close to pass away. And people just forget, man. People just forget. It's fucked. People just forget. There was a boy who passed away in my high school when I was in like a younger grade. It would have been maybe 2018, I don't remember. And people were really upset for a week. And I didn't even remember about that kid until I was halfway through making this, and I knew that I wanted to talk about what happens after you die. I haven't thought about it since then, and it was really impactful at the time. It was horrible. It was like a car accident or whatever it was. It was a really sudden loss of life. But I haven't thought about it since then, and I honestly, I doubt that his friends really do either, because it's been like, what, nearly 10 years now? Yeah, oh fuck, it's nearly been 10 years now. Man, I'm getting on. It's nearly been 10 years now. They probably do think about it like every now and again, but not particularly often like they used to, and as they, you know, go on in life, they're going to think about it less and less and less and less and less. And the only people that will probably think about that for the rest of their life is parents or siblings. Once those parents and siblings die, so does the memory of that person. They're gone. That's it. Goodbye. There's no one left to remember you because you didn't do anything. And in his case, it's really unfortunate because he was too young to really do anything. And this is why I'm saying that this is a really morbid section, because, like, you know, some people just aren't around long enough to actually do something to be memorable. Like, you know, all of those babies that are stillborn or sudden infant death syndrome and everything. Like, their parents are going to remember them for the rest of their lives, but, you know, once their parents pass, that's it. That's a soul that is now, like, gone. You get to make the choice of where you end up. Are you remembered? Or is your life that you get, you only get one, is it effectively not meaningless, but it just doesn't hold any weight? You get to decide. This could be as simple as, like, I'm not kidding, this could be as simple as you are a scientist and you figure out a new shade of red. People are going to use that shade of red every now and again for the rest of time. There might be a 10-year gap between someone using that shade of red, but they're still using that shade of red. Or people talking about that shade of red. Or do you remember when we thought that we knew every color on the spectrum, and then whoever discovered this shade of red in 2027? That's really cool, because that opens up so many other possibilities in science. And that's another thing that I want to talk about. Not necessarily leaving something directly behind, but leaving the door open for someone else to directly figure something out or do something. This applies to bodybuilding. You might have really bad genetics. Like, they might really suck. And that is awful. And that is luck of the draw. And I can relate, mine aren't the best by any means. They're definitely above average for bodybuilding, but they're not the best. And that might mean that you can never even get your pro card. Ever. You might have an adverse reaction to gear. You might have to stop bodybuilding. And that sucks. Having to, like, give up stuff like that. But you might be, again, similar to the science topic I was talking about before, really knowledgeable, and you know how to study, and you're really passionate about everything to do with bodybuilding. And so you read and you understand and you talk to pros and you understand what's going on, and you learn about all the systems of growth and nutrition and training and prep and all this other stuff. And you do have a little bit of experience because you were an amateur bodybuilder, and the only reason you couldn't turn pro was because of your genetics. You, by extension, might leave behind, opening the door up for someone else. I'm going to use Honey Rambot as the example. I don't know if he ever got his pro card. Not 100% sure. He sure as shit didn't win an Olympia. But he has coached 30-something Olympia wins between like Chris, Hardy, Derek, Phil Heath, and Jay Cutler alone. And he has other clients. Man, like, that is a hell of a legacy to leave behind, bro. Like, because people are going to be talking about Jay and Phil and Chris, at least, for generations. Generations. They are generational bodybuilders. And so, at some point in those conversations, when people are talking about them, they're going to have to talk about Hani. Who was their coach? Who coached them to all of those wins? Who made them so dominant or helped them be so dominant? Hani did. And, you know, I don't really care for your opinion on whether he's a good coach or not, because that's not the point. The point is, he couldn't excel in his exact field that he wanted to excel in. He gave a lot of, thought to. But he was so good at it, just held back by genetics or whatever, that he could help all of these other people excel and be at the top of that field with his knowledge and his intellect and his access to gear, quality gear, access to quality food, access to quiet private training facilities, access to, like all this other stuff, right? You can do that too. You can either excel in your field that you want to excel in, because I know that all of you can. You can all excel in the field that you want to excel in. You just have to fucking do it. You just have to do it. And you have to do it enough. Or you can excel in your field in a different way. If this path doesn't work, you can do this and get to the same thing. So that when you die, you are not just another, like, unkept gravestone. And that's it. On that whole, excelling and knowing that all of you can excel. I've had conversations with some of you, particularly when it comes to training and nutrition, where you DM me and, you're asking, is 10 sets on full body too much? And my thought on that is, well, are you recovering? And if the answer is yes, do more, or train harder, or stuff like that. Add a little bit more volume. And then, is that recoverable? Yeah. Well, then do more and train more and add more volume and train harder. And is that recoverable? It's getting a little bit much. Improve your diet. Improve your sleep. Improve your stress control. Improve your fatigue from your job or whatever else. Once you've improved those things, is that recoverable? Well, yeah, it's recoverable. Do more. Train harder. Get more stimulus. Get more quality stimulus. Do more. Do it better. Is that recoverable? No, it's not, and I'm having issues with this relationship in my life, and it's cut them off. Break up with them. Cut them off. They're hindering you, and they're holding you back, and they're keeping you from doing the thing that you want to do. And I can guarantee you, if you are proficient and you excel at doing the thing that you want to do, you will attract someone who is also proficient and excels at doing the thing that you want to do. And that will be a really good relationship that might end up in marriage, kind of thing. This high school girlfriend or boyfriend that you have that doesn't have any ambitions and doesn't want a job and didn't finish school and doesn't care and thinks that you going to the gym is a waste of time, and they want to spend time with you in front of Netflix eating Maltesers and chips, drop them. Hard, honest truth, drop them. You will find better. This is not your wife. This is not your husband. If you truly want to excel in the field that you want to excel at, you will drop people, friends, relationships, parents that are holding you back. And you will excel, and you will attract people that are going to help you excel more in that field. And at the end of the day, that is your choice. And if you choose to stay with those people or hold on to those relationships or people, that's your choice too. And you're making that decision. And so don't say you're committed. Don't say you'll give everything to it. I'll give everything to bodybuilding. Break up with your bum-ass girlfriend. No, but I can't do that because then bodybuilding's not your life. You're not as committed as you thought. Rocket science is my life. I want to give everything to this field. But you have friends that when you stay in to study and learn more, they make fun of you because you're not going out partying or drinking or to this birthday party. Yeah, but I've known them since I was 6 years. Well, then you're not that committed to rocket science, are you? You're just not that committed. You're not as committed as you think you are. And we could all be more committed. And I want you to be, I want all of you to be more committed. I want all of you to listen to this, take all of it with a grain of salt. Obviously, I'm a 19-year-old spewing nonsense on YouTube with a microphone set up in his bedroom and My Neighbor Totoro and Dorian Yates book. But take parts of this and implement it in your life, because I think that all of you, particularly the young people that follow me, can benefit from this. And like I said at the start, I don't care what your obsession is. I care because I care about you, but I don't care what it is that you want to go and do regularly, unless it's like meth, and in that case, don't. But, you know, if it's sports related, if it's, what's that word? If it's, academics, if it's sports related, if it's academic related, if it's philosophy related, if it's like physical labor related, you want to be the best welder on planet Earth and go and work for like high profile welding companies because welding's your thing, do it. Be the best fucking welder ever. You want to work in a mod shop to mod cars at like a really high level in Japan or whatever, and you know, you might not make as much money from it as you thought, but you really love it, do it. But you've got to do the things to get there. There's no luck. There might be a little bit of luck. But to get lucky, you have to put yourself in the situations for it to come and find you. And if you're not putting yourself in the situations and you're not trying and you're not cutting off those people holding you back and you're not putting in 100% effort, luck is never going to find you. It's like with bodybuilding. You don't know how good your genetics are until like maybe your second comp and you're peeled. You got no idea. And you're not going to be able to find out how good your genetics are until then. Some people are lucky and they can tell from when they're younger, like Phil Heath. Bro was a tank playing basketball. But there's a lot of people closer to someone like maybe Martin Fitzwater or Sean Clarita, actually is better, until, you know, their second or third comp. And then everyone was like, shit, this kid's got like potential. This guy's got like a lot of potential. And then they'd be like, oh, I got lucky with genetics. Yeah, but if you didn't go to those comps, if you didn't try, you would have no idea what your genetic potential was. And so you wouldn't be lucky. You'd just be another guy working another 9 to 5 instead of a world-class bodybuilder. You have to put yourself in the position to get lucky or get the perks of life that come and find you and grab you and pull you up into a better position in your field. And I think that's all I wanted to say. I think that's it. So I hope that you could take at least something out of this. If not, sorry for wasting your time. But I guarantee you, if you listen to this with an open mind and a little bit of an open heart, I'm sure that you can find something from this that pertains to your life that you can implement or self-reflect on or change. And I realized that at the end of the day, every single thing that you do and that you achieve and that you don't do and that you don't achieve all comes back to you and the choices and decisions that you make, that you have to make. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment. This video is not scripted at all. I just rambled. My videos in the future will be scripted. I want all of my physiology things and paleontology stuff and video essays on fiction and shows. They'll all be scripted. They won't just be me rambling. But I just wanted to get in front of a camera and see how I go and see how my setup goes and go about editing and all that kind of stuff. Which this video will not be very heavily edited. I'm going to get better at editing as time goes on, but I'm probably just going to throw this thing up how it is and just cut out the beginning and end, and that's it. And it'll have really long autistic pauses. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and like I said, I hope you can find something in this hour and something long video that you can implement or think about in your life. I love all of you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and commenting and supporting all of my other socials. And I will see you in another video later this month.